Who wants $50? $50 in Bitcoin for answering a question, helping me out. It's a very simple question. I know it's Labor Day, but I'm asking you to put a little labor in behind your keyboard. Answer this question for me. Who is selling Bitcoin? Everybody. I tweeted earlier, who in the world is actually selling Bitcoin right now? Just tell me. Are you selling Bitcoin? Put your address, Bitcoin address. I'm going to give $50 away for your labor, for your help. Hit the like button, answer my question, and let's see what the results are, because I'm very curious. And I'll give $50 away to one of the commenters, one of you all out there. So let's jump into the video. I've spotted something very interesting on the daily charts I want to talk about. So a lot of my technical analysis is based on patterns. It's based on historical data. It's based on consistency in Bitcoin. Like, what is Bitcoin doing over and over? And how does that integrate into Bitcoin momentum? And how do the charts come together? How do they flow together? Because if you zoom out, and we can go to a weekly chart, we can zoom out on Bitcoin long term on the weekly chart, and Bitcoin has kind of this flow and rhythm to it, right? So in analyzing Bitcoin, I ask myself, well, where are some consistencies? And my eyes are always looking for these things, similar moves and similar momentum patterns and things of that nature. And I found one on the daily chart I want to talk about. So right here, this was last summer. Interestingly enough, last summer, that swing high, we got rejected around $14,000. We fell into a symmetrical triangle. We were hoping for bullish continuation. It didn't happen. We got a bearish break into a falling wedge of sorts, right? And we short term, and this is important in this part of this move, short term came up, but it was rejected and we came back down, right? And we tried to come up again, and COVID happened, and COVID really screwed up the charts. But it's this move of the symmetrical triangle with a downward momentum into a falling wedge with a break up before rejection down. I see a very similar move for Bitcoin. A symmetrical triangle, again, wrapping around this 50 moving average, exactly as it did back in that last symmetrical triangle, the consolidation of it, breaking to the upside this time. And if you could just imagine this whole move as a mirror to what I'm explaining to you. So a break to the upside out of the symmetrical triangle. Last time it was to the downside, into a falling wedge last time, this time into a rising channel, a rising wedge of sorts this time, and a break to the downside this time. Last time it was a break to the upside, but we got rejected and we continued down. The question is, if this continues and Bitcoin continues in this pattern, will Bitcoin this time break to the upside? Because this entire move that I'm tracking here is kind of the inverse so far of what happened back then. Now, I know this is stretching it a bit, but I've been watching Bitcoin charts for years now, and it's really not stretching it. It's really not reaching for something. I'm not trying to reach for a bullish case for Bitcoin, because when we zoom in on the charts, we have clear technical indicators of resistance straight ahead of us. We can look at those things, but it's always interesting to look at the flow of Bitcoin, because when we use things like these charts and Fibonacci retracement indicator, we're looking for the flow. We're looking for the rhythm of Bitcoin, right? And this could be an upward momentum move that Bitcoin is currently into this rising wedge, break to the downside, continuation up. It would be the exact inverse of a break to the downside, break to the upside, and continuation down. So I'm gonna be watching this. Along with this is interesting, two things. Rejection right here, right around, that's the neckline of this long-term inverse head and shoulders that we've been tracking on this channel. That was the very beginning of it. And now we are testing that area right now. It's such a cool story on the charts being written. I'm tracking it, so I'm going to do a video on it. The other thing is this, the RSI. And again, this is a daily chart. When Bitcoin got rejected, right at the beginning of this move that we're looking, you can see Bitcoin actually kind of came up right into this overbought area, this overbought line, and got rejected. Now, again, the inverse of it happening right now, we're getting potential bounce, potential support right at the oversold RSI line for a potential bounce and continuation back up into overbought. That would be the story of continuation for Bitcoin. So I'm tracking it. You may not agree with it. This is just the way I look at the charts. This is how I've been doing it for a while. And a lot of times I'm telling you, everybody, it just plays out. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin makes a very solid move, at least to test this previous swing high, 12,500. But if it is consistent with, what Bitcoin did back in this area, then we'd be surpassing and we'd be putting in a higher high above 12,500. That could be very bullish for Bitcoin. So talking about this though, if we start zooming in on the charts, what does Bitcoin have to do on the very short term, right? We have two things that I'm watching for in the very short term. There are literally fireworks happening. I guess they're loving the video right now. They're loving the video, the Bitcoin giveaway. Here it is, neckline. We just talked about it. $10,500 neckline. Here's that move back here. It wasn't quite at $10,500, but just below it. And we're literally like testing that swing high right as I do this video. It's a very interesting area. But up to that neckline area, 10,500 is big resistance. And then the other thing is this. If we're looking at, here's the right shoulder here. That's the right shoulder with the break above the neckline coming back down, testing it. But if we look at that right shoulder and we take our Fibonacci retracement, that last swing low of that right shoulder to our swing high we just had to $12,500 area, Bitcoin is testing the retracement area. 618 to 786 is totally not a surprise. This is just another harmonious move on the Bitcoin charts. And this is what I'm saying. Bitcoin puts in these moves that are just like, they're so synergistic, they flow. It's like just such a nice move when you start zooming out on the charts and looking what actually happened. And the Fibonacci retracement is kind of like that. I mean, musicians, artists, they use these Fibonacci numbers to kind of get like a pattern, a flow of things, right? And we have a flow right now, potential support at the 618 line of this Fibonacci retracement. This could be the support area that Bitcoin bounces off of to really play out that bullish case that we were just talking about. So those are the two areas I'm watching. If we really zoom in on the 6 hour, Bitcoin is kind of in this falling wedge of sorts, this falling channel. The wicks are a little messy, but you get it. Lower highs, lower lows, and Bitcoin currently testing this upper trend line breakout target right around $11,000. If Bitcoin fails, breaks down, lower trend line currently around 9,800 or so with a breakout target, 9,300. Neither scenario will surprise me, everybody. But with what is happening with Bitcoin right now, you just have to be prepared for every scenario. It's why we do technical analysis. We get confirmations. Bitcoin bullish, break above to $11,000, above that neckline 10,500, bullish. In my opinion, that would be bullish confirmation. We saw, I tweeted a little bit earlier, Dash, just one of those altcoins today moving, making a little move, strong move, could be a potential leading indicator for Bitcoin. Keep your eye on it. And those are my thoughts for today's technical analysis. Please let me know. Let me know. Are you selling? If you're on Twitter, follow me, Crypto Recruiter. It's Crypto Capital Venture. Follow me, but also answer the question below. It would mean a lot. I'd be curious to know, hey, Dan, I am selling. I sold $500 ago. Or, hey, I'm buying. I'm not selling. And I will pick a winner. Put your Bitcoin address below for $50 worth of Bitcoin for this Labor Day, September 7th. If you're here, you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe as we grow this channel and we have some fun in the crypto space. I appreciate you. Have a good night. See you in the next video, and God bless.